Right, hello. Very warm welcome to the Ibrox Channel podcast. After Rangers have another win in the league, but it doesn't feel like all is rosy in the garden, does it? So I'm joined by the wonderful Harvey from the London branch. What is your official title? I feel like social media executive probably sounds like the right title for you.
I'll take that. I wouldn't put myself at the front of social media promotion, but that's definitely what we're trying to do here. I'd say social media events, pitching in wherever.
Lovely.
Bringing the average age of a committee down. That's my primary job.
You're the diversity recruitment, aren't you? Yeah.
DEI hire.
Brilliant. Well, no, it's great to have you back on, Harvey. It was good to chat with you last time. We got some really good talking points going. But so we had a home game on a Sunday at 3 p.m, which is a bit of a weird one, isn't it, on a Sunday?
Not appealing to anyone, is it?
But
by Sunday afternoon, you just kind of want the games out the way. Having said, I think you were just about to come in and say that we always start badly when we're playing at lunchtime on Sunday, which is true.
Well, do you know what? It wasn't that. I was actually going to say we at least if Rangers ruin your weekend, it's only from 5 p.m. onwards, and then it's Monday. So yeah, there is that, especially when the clocks go back. But thanks for coming on, Harvey. It's absolutely good to hear from you, and we'll get a bit about what's going on at the London branch. I was down at London branch on Thursday for the FCSB game. Great atmosphere. I had some chat with some of the guys there. Got a good couple of interviews. One at halftime, one at full time, on just the kind of general feel of the game. And it was good. It was good to see us win 4-0 in Europe, something we hadn't done in about 17 years. What did you make of that game? Do you enjoy it?
Never turned down a big win in Europe, especially we've been talking about how important a goal difference could be in this new group stage as well. Especially, I think, in some of our games we've got coming up, we'll be looking at the other way. Like, we've got Man United and Spurs, when we think in those cases, we're thinking how many we might ship. So we can build up our goal difference in games like this. Absolutely welcome. And for all our complaints, we're nearly there. You know, one more win and a draw. I think that will get us through. 4 points from 4. It's doable. No, I had a really good time watching the game. It kind of took me out of all the domestic kind of hellhole we're going through right now. I thought loads of good goals from us. Lawrence, I think when I was last on, he was moaning about him when he's not scoring. He's generally not contributing. But it's a good few goals he's got recently now and turning up for us in Europe. So kudos to him. And yeah, it was just a really enjoyable performance. Eggman's goal was great as well. Really keen to see him get off a mark. Sad that didn't continue into the weekend, though.
Yeah, it's one of them, isn't it? Because it's almost, somebody's made a comment the other day that it's almost shaping up a little bit like the 05-06 season where we had, do you remember where we finished third in the league and went to the last 16 of the Champions League with 40 stone Olivier Bernard at left back? But you never know. It's weird. We seem to score goals in Europe. We seem to be comfortable with that. But in the league away from home, we've scored 1. So let's get on to the problems domestically. So how are you feeling going into this one? We saw the team sheet come out, which actually was quite a surprise. I thought was quite positive. Obviously, I'll just go through the team sheet now quickly. We had Jack Butland in goal. We had James Tavernier dropped, which you don't see often. So we had Nana Kashimwiro in at right back, Leon Balogun, Robin Proper, and Jefte at left back. We had Connor Barron, and we had Nicholas Raskin just in front. And then we had Vaclav Cherny, Mohamed Diamande, and Nadim Bajrami out on the left. And we had the kind of striker up top, Hamza Igmane, after his goal midweek. So what did you make of the team when it came out? What were your initial thoughts?
Surprised. I wasn't too surprised to see Dessers dropped out. I mean, you all knew Lawrence was going to make way because he's got an injury. I've actually not seen an update on that recently. But bar that, I did not see Tavernier coming out. But if you are going to drop him, it's for a game like this. And I think we should have been managing his minutes better years ago. And to be honest, I think given his performances this season, I think it would have been better to pull him out at some point. But I thought it was an encouraging changes to the lineup. One thing is, he did bring them Tavernier and Dessers on at half-time. I hope that now doesn't mean that he's never going to drop Tavernier off it again, because you feel like, I've dropped him once and we had to bring him back on. Can't panic like that. We do need to try new things with his squad, and it's the way to do it like this. I would be for bringing Tavernier back into the squad on Wednesday. I don't think there's any question that he won't do that. I think it could be a bit more interesting to see if Dessers comes back in, though. Even though he played well, I thought, when he came on.
Yeah, it's weird because it's almost like we brought Tavernier and Dessers on to save the day, which sounds like something crazy in an alternate universe. But yeah, no, it was good to see Casemiro getting a start, and it was good to see Clement not being kind of so rigid with where players were. He was changing up a little bit later on in the game. The one thing that is sticking with me at the minute, though, which is a bit frustrating, is our formation. Because personally, I know managers look at the kind of way to play football and the kind of one-touch passing, create the perfect goal. I think you've obviously got to have the players for that. And you look at our kind of setup, 4-2-3-1. Is it necessary against the St
At
Mirren?
home,
Could
just
yeah, you look at
two
that
holding
and you think,
midfielders at home, St Mirren, it stifles midfield up. I agree.
yeah, could we maybe do something a little bit adventurous with three at the back? Maybe, some people talking about having two up top, maybe go a 3-5-2 or 3-5-1-1, or what would you say, Harvey?
That's the question. If you think that big man, we spent money on him, so I was hoping that a player we spent money on would be ready to play football by late October and start games. Evidently, he's not, despite some flashes. Dessers is our only real viable striker option because Danilo's posting compilation videos scoring goals for the B team. So we do that. Playing two up top it has to be on the list of things that Clement's going to consider. I would be very surprised if he implements that for Wednesday night or anytime soon, but it would be on my list. I think I kind of agree with all those kind of structural issues. It kind of leans itself to why we're so bad to watch as well, I think. On 4-2-3-1, I quite like it as a formation, but I think you need players who can absolutely master all of those roles in that system. And we are very much a back to basics team at the moment. On the kind of 3-5-2, it's a formation I like, but it's also, I think if you get it wrong, it can be one of the easiest systems to break down. And I'm not quite sure. I think it would be a big roll of the dice for us to go back into a system like that at the moment. We've not played 3-5-2 since Gerrard, first season away to Motherwell, I think, and then we never saw it again.
The Lafferty
So
game. Yeah.
the Lafferty game, yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
that's right.
It should have
Yeah.
been the Lafferty game we won 3-2,
Oh.
drew 3-all. Sickner.
No, you're right, actually. Looking at that, there definitely needs something to be changed. Obviously, I don't think, like you say, I think, obviously we got onto Wednesday night a little bit later on, but I don't think we're going to change too much up there. I think we're going to try and go for the tried and trusted, which is a little bit of a worry because I think there is that side of it. You think Aberdeen might be able to read us like a book, but you look at St Mirren and the way they kind of sit up against us, they went for a bit of a bold 3-4-3. They kind of knew their game plan. They knew they weren't going to just sit back. Don't get me wrong, they defended in numbers at times, but they had 4 shots on target. Not many teams get that at Ibrox, do they?
So we should be, no matter how bad we are going through transitional, Rangers should be doing the job against the St Mirren team at Ibrox. No worries at all. Having said that, I think St Mirren's position of the table is quite undervalues them for what kind of level team they are in the league, and also I really rate Stephen Robinson for like an SPFL kind of level manager. I think he's done a quite solid job wherever he's been to, and I think we'll go up the table soon rather than later.
Yeah, one thing I've always noticed about St Mirren, they've always had very solid centre backs, and I'll get onto a little bit about centre backs a little later on because obviously Rangers look for different qualities in centre backs. We'll get onto Robin Proper in a little bit, but you look at somebody like Gogic, who's a saltwood of the SPFL. We've seen him around for years.
Sorry, you go.
No, go for it, Harvey.
No,
go for it.
In my quickly scribed pre-match notes, I had Gogic played well against us there, great goal. But also, I think he's had a string of really good performances against us. I'm pretty sure it was Gio's last game away at St Mirren. He was absolutely brilliant, and he got back and cleared a good ball off the line. I think he's a really solid player, and I don't think he should be causing havoc amongst the Rangers' defence or anything like that. But he's a very
That's
good,
the thing, isn't
tried
it?
and trusted SPFL player, yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. So the game kind of started. The crowd, you can see the crowd work for it. I think there was a bit of belief, wasn't there, that we've had this great performance in Europe. We're going to try and translate this into Scottish football. Crowd seemed up for it, and game started, and Igmani got a yellow. for a kind of, it was a kind of went for a header. There was a bit of a coming together, a bit of a nothing challenge, really. It's a hard challenge, but nothing. But a yellow for Igmani that early on, we don't see that often.
I
Was that a
know
yellow
that
for
doesn't
you?
happen. Could have gone either way, but I do agree with your point. It's very rare you see them so early on.
Yeah, you don't see them. It's almost like an unwritten rule in Scotland. You don't see them. The
No,
first
none until half
exchanges,
an hour.
you could kick someone in
Yeah.
the face and you'll be all right. Yeah. There was a little bit of an alarm bell 9 minutes in. Olusana was in on goal. It was a simple ball through to him. Proper goes to ground, gets nowhere near it, and Olusana's through. And Balogun does his best to narrow the angle. He gets the shot away, but it is wide. Luckily, I think Balogun does well there to kind of push him a bit further out wide. But it was an alarm bell, wasn't it?
It was an alarm bell, and I thought we'll get onto it, but I don't think we really settled at all the first half. And you're talking about that pre-match positivity. I wouldn't go quite that far. And I thought any positivity was extinguished pretty early on because it's gone like, well, Europe Thursday night's over. Now we're back to the grind against St Mirren and jobber SPFL teams who we can't figure out to break down. And that's not a Clermont. That is very much a Clermont problem, but that's a problem we've had now for years.
No, you're correct. It's an issue that we've had for several managers now, and it's been the same thing. Yeah, it's the $1 million question at the minute for Rangers, isn't it? But yeah, no, I was noticing from Casemiro, he had a good few long balls, and our goal kind of came from a long ball from Casemiro to Diamandi at the edge of the area. He hits it. It goes across the area poorly. It was a bit of a poor take from Diamandi, but Bajrami manages to gather it, retrieves it, picks out Raskin at the edge of the area. He gets a shot away. It looks like he's got a clean shot on it, and the keeper's kind of parried it, Balcombe right back into the mix. But there is actually a deflection on it if you watch it, which sends the keeper kind of the wrong way. So it was actually quite a good save from Balcombe. But the man is there, Diamandi, and he slots it home. It's 1-0. The first of many, you think, don't you, when you score 13 minutes in?
Yeah, definitely, and a very welcome one for Diamandi as well. I really liked the look of Diamandi when he came in last year, and he's one of these players which I get really worried about, that seems to regress the longer they're here. I like him a lot, and I've heard a few people say it this week, so I'm kind of staying on my lines. I don't quite know what he is. I don't know who he wants to be, what kind of player he is, but if he'd like to reinvent himself into a goal-scoring midfielder, that would be absolutely excellent. But no, it was good to get off a marker. I did see, once I saw that, I thought, right, settle down now. We'll get another one here, but that's pretty much the opposite of what happened.
Yeah, that's the thing. You do think that's it. Get the first goal, they'll have to come out a little bit and there'll be pockets of space, but we didn't really see that. They did come out a bit. They were actually creating chances.
Adventurous.
And,
yeah,
they were making my Sunday very, very uncomfortable. But it was good for us to score from our kind of first real attack. But then it wasn't long before St Mirren score. Now, their kind of goal comes from a nothing free kick in midfield, which was given away, I think, by Diamandi. O'Hara whips it into the box. Now, at first, I thought that there was a big error here. It looked like in real time that the St Mirren player had hit it out behind. But actually, when you watch the replay in slow motion, it does actually hit it off of Raskin and out. So actually, fair play to the linesman and the official there for catching that. It's probably more the linesman than anyone, but it was actually a corner. I was quite surprised at that when I saw the replay. I thought, I was adamant that it wasn't a corner. But yeah, that was the least of the problems. So the corner, obviously, is coming in. You got Butland now. There's a bit of a situation going on. I don't know if it's Olusana's kind of backing into him a little bit at first. You've got our kind of zonal marking going on. You've got Diamandi kind of as the presser against Gogic, and then it's Proper that's actually marking him when the ball's kind of coming in and he moves. So there's a few kind of points of failure in this goal, isn't there?
There's points of failure all over the place.
Go on, Harvey, break it down. Go on.
No, come on. So when I first saw it go in, I thought Butland. I'm kind of backtracking on that now, and I'm more frustrated at the defenders. I don't think anyone's picked up Gogic. I can't remember where I've read someone say it, but we can actually see someone at the game said they saw Barron gesture towards Proper to go pick up on Gogic, and he looks at him for a moment, then just forgets what he's doing, and then Gogic gets free. one thing I will say is I think it's a great header. Butland, I can see people are saying he's weak coming out. He's being forced to come out because no one's picking him up. And maybe that goes back to your point on the zonal breakdown, zonal marking, or man-for-man marking. Really frustrating goal to concede. And just we've never really got a hang of these set pieces going forward or at the back at all this season. We'll concede goals like this again, and we'll fail to take advantage of situations like this at the other end. So it's a real concern.
Yeah, and it was such a clean header from Gogic as well, wasn't it? You don't see them often in that area. Normally, you can defend them 19 times out of 20, but there was just so many kind of things, little things kind of went wrong. And don't get me wrong, it's a powerful header, but for me, it shouldn't have been scored. But, take nothing away from that. Like you say, I think Proper's got to be, I think he's got to bulk up a little bit. From what I've seen from Proper, now there's been a lot of comparisons made to Ben Davies, and you can see it, can't you? He dives in a little bit too early, doesn't read the game necessarily as well. He doesn't seem as strong in the challenge. And the funny thing is, when you see him at FC20 last year, they finished third. They were the best of the rest. Very solid defender. Didn't concede that many goals. Very good with the ball at his feet. Are we looking? Don't get me wrong. I say very good with the ball at his feet. We've not really seen that from him.
No, I've not seen.
But are we looking at the technical side of a defender more than just big brick, that we need? The SPFL teams are very good at getting solid defenders that can just go through anybody and anything and just clear balls all the time. Is that something we need to go for as well?
Yeah, we're going down this route of centre halves who aren't aggressive and get bullied off Curtis Main or whatever SPFL wannabe hard man they're playing. I don't like looking Proper at all. I think I had a go at him when I was last on here. He's just good with the ball at his feet is code word for, in my opinion. Can't handle playing tough or anything like that. I think he's probably our biggest concern at the moment going forward into Wednesday night. I'd be honest at the point thinking I thought Casemiro had a decent game when he came in at centre back. I would be tempted to go for Balogun or Casemiro in beside Suter if Suter is back for that game there. Because you're absolutely right. We need to change the profile of the centre half we're looking for at the moment.
Oh, do you know what? Totally. I'm 100% in agreement with you. And this is something, again, that's gone through a few Rangers managers as well. Again, it's like playing from the back. That seems to be a big focus, but then we don't always do that either. We do seem to punt it long and try and feed off that second ball. So
we don't do any of the positives anyway. So I'm not seeing any of these playing out to the back. So we had someone who could defend. He also cost about 1.7 million in his 30s. Why are we spending this money on a guy we're getting rid of centre halves in their 30s, getting off the wage bill, and we're just replacing them with the same problem over and over again? And I'm not one for I'm not saying we shouldn't have any experience with the team. We absolutely should. But I remember a few years ago we were getting smart Bosman signings with guys at that kind of age bracket. It made sense. These guys are costing us money at the moment.
Yeah,
right at the moment. Tell me, Robin Proper's not going to be out on loan back to Holland next year. Whilst we play half of his wages. It's already happened, right? I know it's not happened yet, but it is happening. So
the fact you say half his wages as well sounds very Rangers. It really does.
Yeah, I
know. Yeah, it's like you look back at when Bassey, when we kind of got him through from Leicester, and he didn't have the best of time starting either. I always remember that cup game against St Mirren where I think it was Connolly was ragdolling him the whole game, and he couldn't get. But he learned from that. He bulked up a little bit more, got stronger, and became this player. Now, we've seen some players react from criticism, like Czerny. He's got something like 5 goals in the last 4 games, which is incredible. Do you think Proper can come back for this? I think I know your answer now from what you were saying, but
any player can turn it around, right? Things can change. I'm sitting here right now. I know I don't think he will. I think it'll be a really disappointing signing. And on the point of the freeze, I'm not asking every single free signing we make to be Calvin Bassey and sell for a club record fee. But I would like to think that the centre halves we buy and hope to play in the first team fit the profile of what we want to do, be that playing style. And do we have any resale? We've got one. We bought one. This is one of our blue chip summer signings, and he fits neither of those quotas.
Yeah, no, that is, yeah, there are questions over that. Don't get me wrong.
Balogun's a good example of a Bosman signing, actually.
Yeah, Balogun's, if he could stay fit, he'd start most games. I think he reads the game very well, very good marshal the defense. But the thing is, I'm even right now thinking, oh, is he going to make it Wednesday? Because you just start thinking in the back of your head.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, playing a few games in a row just doesn't normally happen for Balogun, sadly. There was a few other things happening in the game. Obviously, there was the potential red on Barron for the kind of high boot with Oliasana. Now, do you remember this at all? Because it's something I missed originally. I don't know what I was doing, but I was watching the game, but I somehow missed this originally. I saw it back and went, oh, Jesus, we got away with one there.
Yeah, well, I'm not so sure. This went totally under the radar for everyone. Then it was brought up on Sports Scene last night, and now Michael Stewart's on the back page of a record. I'll be honest, I've not watched it back since yesterday. I thought it was a wild shape for a red card. I don't think it's a red. I think we had our luck with referees last week, with the Butland shout on Thursday. And I'll say hands up there. That was a free kick. That wasn't a free kick. Let's show the Barron one. That's my piece. Or maybe I'm just disagreeing with Michael Stewart because I don't like him.
Yeah, Michael Stewart, he's a big Rangers fan, don't you know? He's a boyhood Rangers fan. Lovely guy. Yeah, no, the Barron one's an interesting one because I was on the Rangers Journal podcast earlier tonight, and they had an official one there, Ricky, who's fantastic, very good at kind of explaining a lot with the laws of the game and how the interpretations are and stuff. And for him, it was definitely a red. Now I can see where, because football has changed in regards to a lot of challenges and stuff, and the fact when it studs up going towards a face, and it's not like the face has moved towards it. I can see that. There's no malice from Barron there, not at all. But I can see that being a red. I agree with you about Thursday to a degree as well, because don't get me wrong, I'm a goalkeeper myself, goalkeepers union and all that. Goalkeepers are protected species. Anytime a goalkeeper gets touched, it's a free kick. And I think that's where that's come from. Butland messed that up big time. He took the touch and
Butland's fallen into him.
Yeah, 100%. He's felt the possibility of contact or something and has just gone with it, and he's been lucky because luckily the referee blew the whistle as well. So yeah, we got away with one there. This is getting a bit Masonic now, isn't it? But
I know. You have no idea how this goes.
Even Italian referees, eh? But yes, so kind of game wore on, and you're starting to worry a little bit because we're seeing the same thing from Rangers. Second half, we did play much better. We made obviously some substitutes. So we brought Dessers on for Igmane, who had a bit of a wasn't the best first half.
Didn't work out for him.
No,
didn't work out at all.
And 49 minutes in, it looked like we started to play a bit of a high line. We had the two centre backs right on the halfway line, and within 3 passes, it looked like Saints took the lead. Now, it came from a fairly decent pass from us that broke down with the final ball, annoyingly. Dessers just couldn't play it to Czerny properly, where he would have literally been in. I think it's a goal. From that, Saints pick up 3 passes later. Oliasana's in on goal. He bears down, puts it through the legs of Butland. Luckily, though, it was offside. We had pressed forwards in numbers and did leave ourselves a little bit exposed, but technically, got to be honest, the two centre-backs did their job there with the line, as when you see the replay, he is actually quite a bit offside. I think when you really freeze it from the middle, you see he's definitely off. Kind of game wore on a little bit. Dessers had a header from a ball in. It was a fairly decent save from the keeper. They started getting a little bit frustrated. We started seeing Killian Phillips. He got a yellow. Mark O'Hara got a yellow. Referee wasn't too shy in giving out the yellow cards. But once again, 58 minutes in, Proper is getting out-muscled by Oliasana, this time at the byline, and Oliasana gets his shot away and Butland parries it. Proper was struggling badly, and he really was, wasn't he? And you could see why that sub came in 2 minutes later, couldn't you?
100%.
Yeah, it wasn't good for him at all. I couldn't believe in that area when you think you're in trouble, just put it out for a corner. I know you don't want to, or even try and smash it out for a throw, but in that situation, you don't lose the ball there. You can't lose the ball there, and of course, Olusana smelt blood from a few times in the game, so he's gone for it there and rightly, and he's won it. So yeah, we started to change our kind of set up a little bit. Obviously, Proper did come off 61 minutes in. James Tavernier came on. So Casemiro moved to where Proper was. Saints made a substitute as well. Scott came off for McMenamin, not that McMenamin. And yeah, I think game kind of wore on a little bit. We started to see a little bit more overlapping, something that was missing in the first half. Because Jeff Tay in that first half, not overlapping.
Another one didn't have a good game either.
The shape wasn't working, was it? It just, there was something about our press that just wasn't working. I think we should have changed things a little bit quicker personally, but yeah, it's one of those. But 69 minutes in, and Dessers is the provider. He cuts into the area, gets right to the byline, and just lays it on a plate for Czerny. It was a good goal, wasn't it?
What a redemption arc from the big man. Never doubted him. Didn't want him going off on Thursday. No, and Czerny getting us out a hole again. Unlikely heroes, but no, good goal, well worked. And once we'd scored, actually, my nerves were set. The longer it went on, the more nervous I was going. Like we weren't going to get the goal, so it was a massive relief when it came through.
Oh, absolutely massive, wasn't it? And I think we've seen less chance creation from St Mirren as well. They were really starting to tire at this point, and we were kind of getting ourselves over the line a little bit.
Yeah.
They made a few more kind of subs. We had a few more shots. There was a chance for Saints for an 80-minute mark. Ball bouncing around the box, and McMenamin flashes a shot high and wide. Now, there was a penalty shout, and do you know what? I can't remember when in the second half it was, but Raskin takes out, it's probably the man of the moment, isn't it? Olusana, if I remember right. Kind of just outside the box. Referee allows play to continue. He comes into the box, and it looks like Casemiro kind of clips him. Now, it's a bit of a mess here from the officials, because the advantage was played. Now, strictly speaking, when the advantage is played, it shouldn't be brought back for the earlier foul. If there's another foul that's worse, it should go to that. Was that a penalty for you in the box, Casemiro on Olusana? What did you reckon?
Could have gone either way. Hearts or mouths at this kind of point, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah, it was a weird one, because I've spent the day like that, you know, like Lint on Twitter, like over analyzing.
Oh no,
these. I know, but in the positive, yeah, in the positive light. It's from the angle that you see from behind the goal. It's hard to see a touch, but at the same time, his momentum doesn't look like he's diving. So obviously Casemiro doesn't get the ball, and when you don't get the ball, you're opening that door for anything to happen.
You're opening the door for it to be in a penalty, yeah.
You are, you know. I think that's something we've got to be careful with. I think Casa needs to be taken aside a little bit, you know. Something we have to be careful with in Scotland. Oh, 100%. He's got such great potential about him, though. When you see him for the under 21s for the Netherlands, my God, he had 2 assists. He's looking a player, that boy. I just hope we can. I just hope we can have him.
Mold him.
I know, mold him, do everything. Brilliant. So yeah, again, we got away with one there. It's not like us to really have a rash of decisions go for us, you know. So we're due some bad ones probably in the next game coming up. But yeah, so no, it was good to have your take on that one. Obviously, the game wore on into the kind of the last 9 embers. We saw Barron come off for Sterling, Czerny come off for McCausland. I would say kind of with a look towards Wednesday, probably just trying to keep him fit for Wednesday more than anything, because he came off very late in the game. 95 minutes in, though, this is the Jekyll and Hyde we see from Dessers. He was in the box with the ball, a great turn and shot. Deal had the assist, but he puts it wide. And then straight after that was the one we've all seen, replayed. 96 minutes in, Dessers is 1-on-1 with the keeper. So Balcom's coming out, and Dessers goes to take it round him, and then it looks like Dessers goes down under pressure from the keeper. Is that a penalty?
He goes down too lightly in these situations. I'm all for winning penalties smartly, but he was never getting that.
It's, you know what, even me trying to describe it there, I can't even say like there's a possible touch from the keeper. There's just nothing really there. For me, this is where Dessers, if he's caught in two minds, it's where he doesn't excel too well. If he's got a quick snapshot decision to make, he can be quite good at that, but he's in a little bit of a barren spell at the minute. We all know this comes with Dessers. He'll go on a run of scoring 10 goals, and then suddenly he's non-existent for about 4 or 5 games. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. He linked up a bit better today when he did come on. So, you know, there is some sort of hope. But as you say, it's very likely that he'll probably start on Wednesday. So that was that. Luckily, the whistle went there. I think in that situation, the referees looked and thought, you know what, even if I do award a penalty, it doesn't affect the game. Rangers have already won it. It's one of them. It's easier to ignore and go, you know what, I can't tell. Let's just go. Yeah, if it was at the other end, it probably would have been analysed. Yeah, no, exactly. So there were some comments from Clement. That doesn't even sound right, does it? I'm trying to say 2 words at once. But yeah, there was some. Clement did speak after the game in the post-match presser. Some of the comments I've just kind of highlighted. He did say, we started today with 7 players who are new this season. That's a work in progress. Yep. It's nearly November. He also said, we had a really good performance on Thursday in the Europa League. We had an okay performance today, but we started with 7 new players who went into the building 2 months ago. They need to get this experience to become better. That's a work in progress. It was important to take this well-deserved point. I'll be hearing the same kind of spiel from Clement every game now.
Yeah, so to rewind it a bit, in August, it was like, oh, you'll see the real Rangers in October. It's November next week. My general feeling is on Clement is, and he's by far like not our biggest issue. We are in the end of a movie with Clement. It might happen on Wednesday night. It might happen in May next year. But this situation for me is very unlikely salvageable. For what it's worth, I'd like him to stay the season. Just for the purpose of, I think it's more important we establish who the chairman and the CEO of a football club is and an executive team is before bulletin a manager, bringing someone in to get a bounce right now and then struggle towards the end of the season and then they're infected with the problems from this season going into next season. So that's a big reason why I'm really anti bringing someone in right now, because I don't know what caliber we could get is right now. We've just given them a new contract, which I wouldn't have done. The parallels between us and Man United are frightening. But yeah,
well, apart from what happened today with United,
yeah, exactly. That's a good point. We're going to hear more of this from Clement. There's a lot of chat about like, I need time to bed in, etc. I have noticed a few people, particularly on X, were going, after Aberdeen got a point at Parkhead, going, look, that's what their manager's done in a couple of months. Clement's been here a year. Worth remembering that people were talking with Clement in glowing terms after 10 games. Clement couldn't do anything wrong after his first 2 months. So we'll see how their manager is viewed by the end of the season. But it is my view that I don't think this is going to work out for Clement. I think we kind of know where it's going, which is not the situation I wanted to be in, but we are where we are. I think a big thing is highlighting your successes about beating Ross County 6-0. Don't really cut it when you're getting cuffed off every decent team we play. Like, I think we're getting by against the Dross at home and losing key away games or drawing them. It's not going to work. That's not.
Yeah, that's the issue. Our tests this season have been Tynecastle, Parkhead, and Rugby Park.
Failed
all of them. Now, Tawdry's coming up, which is the worst case scenario because for once, this isn't an Aberdeen. This isn't the Aberdeen team of last year that were, circling the drain, at wit's end. Now, I agree with what you're saying about the manager, especially with the comments about Aberdeen. I think there's a different pressure up there. So, they'll be ecstatic just to kind of be where they are now. Don't get me wrong, it is a great start. And they're grinding out the results as well when they're not playing well, which is something.
This is why I've got some hope for tomorrow night. They've been getting by against Dundee United, etc., and Hearts, who have a terrible season. We're playing Aberdeen tomorrow night. I think we need to, Wednesday night. Sorry, we need to remember that. There's not European Globetrotters we're playing here, right? Just go out and do our stuff. We do have better players than them. That's it. Their main guys are still shinny, etc. Right? A few of our signings have had a good start, but we're leaning on guys like that. Duke, who's been in and out of the team, just need to do our job when we go up there. It's also an absolute must-win game. A draw is a bad result. A draw leaves us 6 points behind Aberdeen in November. We need to win it.
Do you know
Losing doesn't even bear thinking about, because 9 points is a big gap.
I saw today some kind of people in a group chat were talking and saying, you know, would you take a draw? And I'm like, no, not at all. We should be beating the likes of Aberdeen, even if it is away. We seem to give teams like this far too much respect and almost have a fear. The same fear that we have when we go to Parkhead sometimes, and that's what's wrong. Now, Aberdeen have had to change up a few times. Now, funnily enough, they're a team that have managed to get the 4-2-3-1 working quite nicely, and it does work for them. But you know, they've gone between. You know, you look at when they played at Parkhead, they went with Kevin Nisbet up front with Leighton Clarkson in behind. Obviously, Shinnie there. You can put your money on Shinnie getting a card on Wednesday night, can't you? Whereas against Dundee United, they went with Sockler up front with Duke in behind, McGrath out on the left. So I know some changes were enforced due to injuries and stuff, but they are capable of doing things. Now, we've had poor Aberdeen sides come to Ibrox and we've gone to Pataudry and dropped points. This will be almost no different, and I think that will be in our heads a little bit. It's a hard game to predict because, again, when they went to Parkhead, they went 2 goals down very early on, and I personally think that Celtic basically thought they'd had it won, I think, and I think they took the foot off the gas. I think that's where a lot of that come from. Don't get me wrong, coming back from 2 goals down there is still an achievement, and it is, especially when you've got an unbeaten record. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It'd be interesting to see who's fit for Aberdeen as well, because I know they've got a few injury issues. But yeah, Finney definitely will look to go through someone within the first 5 minutes, set the tone. I think we've got to do the same. I really think we do. It's a game 100%. That is so hard to predict. On paper, it should be a 2-0, even a 3-0, but we know it won't be. Do you have a prediction for it, or are you going to be a bit coy about it?
2-1 to us. 2-1 to us.
Do you know what?
Both teams score. Wouldn't be surprised if we went behind early on.
Yeah, do you know what?
But then I'm actually putting faith. As I said, that I went, can this Rangers team fight back from a setback like that? And now I'm doubting myself.
Well, do you know what? We've only scored 1 goal away from home, I think, so far this season, haven't we?
I'm asking us to double our tally in one night's work.
Oh, do you know what? I swear my hair's the grey hair that I'm getting at an alarming rate is just caused by Rangers. I swear they just absolutely ruined my life. So yeah, that's it for the football chat for now. So we'll get on to the London branch. So of course, if you're not all familiar, if you are in London or the southeast, then head down to Old Tooley Street, just under London Bridge. You've got the Bermondsey Beer Keller, the home of RFCSA London, the London branch, which is the home to London's oldest Rangers supporters club. Been going since, is it 1961? Which is just absolutely
the number, mate.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? So they've seen everything. They've seen 72. They've seen some absolutely remarkable games there. So Harvey, what is going on down at the London branch at the minute? I hear it's a busy calendar.
It's a busy calendar, mate, up until Christmas, really. We're showing the Aberdeen and Motherwell games this week. Good folks at the Bermondsey Beer Keller have got us a 2-for-1 pints on Bravo and Hellas for the game on Wednesday night, if you remember. So either come on down if you remember, or get yourself signed up while you're in branch, and we'll sort you out for some pints. And then we're all in for the Motherwell game at 3:00 on Sunday as well. Also, I've done Sober October, so I'll be having my first drink on Sunday. So watch out, I'll be a good laugh.
Oh, good on you, Harv. Good on you.
I know, I'm dying for one. I don't know if I'll be celebrating or commiserating on Sunday.
Especially
And
with
then
Rangers, it drives you to the
it
drink
could
as
go
well.
either way. It could drive the drink either way. And then we are going. Oh, before we go there, actually, we'll be showing the Olympiacos game next Thursday. Early kickoff, so get down there if you can and get off work early enough. And on the 9th of November, we've got a bit of an away day on the go. We're going to Leyton Orient v Blackpool. Dougie, our chairman's good pals with Leyton Orient. He sorted us out with some lounge access. So we're going to do ingratiate ourselves with the locals, do a bit of a pub crawl, get the flag out, no doubt. Get in the lounge, have a good few bevies, and potentially a night on the town. If you are interested, we've got our socials up there. If you want to join us for that, do give us a shout and we'll let you know where we are.
Do you know what? There's nothing like going to a football game where you don't have a vested interest in the team.
I'm really looking forward to it.
You could actually just enjoy the football.
Yeah.
You can have a few beers. I've been to a few games. I went to a Maidstone MK Dons game once with a few of the guys, and it was absolutely brilliant. Go to a bit of, kind of local, local football, FA Cup football, that was really good to see, especially you're not raging by the full-time whistle. So no, that's absolutely brilliant. Right. That's a good outing for the guys. So that's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, there's a lot coming up. Obviously, Olympiacos coming up soon. I don't even know how that's going to go.
That's on my birthday, and I did think about it before. It's really going over and getting beat in Greece and potentially copping by some Greek mob is a really good way to ruin my birthday. So I'm sticking at home for this one.
Yeah, do you know what? Some of them away trips do sound tasty, don't they? But yeah, there's a lot of baggage that comes with them in some of the places, that's for sure. But of course, Olympiacos, Europa Conference League winners, so there won't exactly be an easy feat. But do you know what? It would not surprise me if we pick up a draw.
Same.
Do you know what? It's like Real Betis. We shouldn't have been able to do anything against Betis, but we did. That is Rangers, the enigma that is Rangers. But no, it's been a good podcast. It's been great to speak to you, Harvey. We'll have you back on soon. It's always good to chat with you, mate. And hopefully you're a good luck charm for Wednesday, because we are going to need some luck. I think we have a massive psychological problem, I think. And if we can simplify things, maybe I would say simplify the formation, but I don't think we're going to get into anything too technical. Just simplify the football. Let some players off the leash. Let Diomande do what he can do. Because I find sometimes in modern football that it's all about being the team game and playing to a specific system. And you see some players now that they don't see their ability shine when you've got players that can. And I'm just hoping that someone like Bajrami can just let him off the leash, let Diomande off the leash, let him do something, because realistically, Aberdeen shouldn't be an issue. Yes, they've started the season well, and fair play to them. You know, it does happen sometimes, but we should be able to do something, and hopefully it's a win for the Rangers on Wednesday. So, Harvey, thank you ever so much for coming on, mate. Thank you, and enjoy down the branch.